Okay, I'm back with my review finally of the Nexus 5. I would have gotten it out earlier, but I was kind of under the weather last week, so I didn't feel like making a video. Anyway, I have both Nexus 5s, the black and the white model, one running a Nova launcher and one running the stock launcher, but I like the stock launcher. I like both launchers. But anyway, I'll cover that in the review. You've probably seen in other reviews the difference between the black and the white model, and I didn't realize this until I watched another reviewer, and he talked about the differences of the black and white. The black, of course, has a soft touch material, and the white sort of has a hard polycarbonate type material, and the sides are like a kind of a slick plastic, just regular kind of glossy plastic. And then of course the speaker grill in the front is a little different. It's white and kind of stands out. Anyway, they're both equally nice phones. I think I sort of kind of lean toward the white one a little bit more. I kind of like the way it looks. Looks a little bit more premium, but I do like the black one also. Right here, you can see it's the same, pretty much the same lock screen as usual with this version of Android. The only difference being is you don't have lock screen widgets by default. You have to enable that, but it pretty much unlocks the same way. You know, you've undoubtedly seen how you can swipe to the left and you can see the Google Now page as a permanent part of the launcher, which I kind of like that. Also, you can swipe up and get to it and it just goes over to it. But there's a lot of other little small, really incremental things in this new operating system that I like. And here's a look of the phone comparing it to the Moto X. It's a bigger phone than the Moto X. A little bit wider and taller, you know, but still a decent phone and still easy to hold in hand. One of the neat things that I like about Android 4.4 is the way it handles wallpapers now. You long press, and as you can see, you can see all your different home screens, but then you can select your wallpaper from this area, like so. And it brings up basically the first wallpaper that you use, well, really not the first, but basically the last one, the last of the first one you use, if I'm saying that right. Anyway, what it does is it caches the wallpaper that you recently used, so you can just go back to a wallpaper that you like and set it really fast. So that's kind of cool. I really like that. And the way it renders it handles the wallpaper. It still crops it, but I don't know. This way seems a lot better. It seems quicker and it fits the image of your wallpaper a lot better than previous versions of Android. Also, these cache versions, you can get rid of them. You can by just long pressing, like so. And you see where it highlights you selected it. Long press again, and you just keep long pressing, and then you hit the trash. And it doesn't delete the wallpaper totally, it just removes it from this area. So I think that's a pretty neat idea. If you want to go back to a wallpaper that you may have liked, you can set it really fast without having to go back into your gallery and finding it or anything. So that's a real neat, one of the small little improvements in Android 4.4. Another thing that's neat in Android 4.4 is you can long press, as I showed you before, adding a wallpaper, but adding widgets is pretty easy too. Pretty much the same, but when you add the widget, you know, you hold down just like before, but if you don't have any room, you can just keep scrolling over until you find an empty space and it'll make another screen. And I think you can have as many screens as you like, I'm not sure. But and then if you can long press it, and instead of swiping the whole screen away, you can just remove the widget or remove the app or whatever you add to that home screen, and you go back to just having the home screens that you had before. And also you can rearrange the home screens like so, you know, in what order you like to have them in. So that's pretty neat. Still working from this screen where you long press and you get your selection of widgets, wallpapers. You also have settings where you can go into your Google Now settings and turn it on and off. or go into and change things, your notifications. One thing about this, what I like about 4.4 is when you set up Google Now, you set it up when you set the phone up, so that's kind of cool. So you can decide whether you want to use Google Now right from the beginning or do it later. Another thing I like in Android 4.4 on the Nexus 5 is the stock email app. Now it looks just like the Gmail app. It kind of looks similar to Gmail now with the big letters on the side, kind of starting with the subject or the first letter in the subject or whoever sent you the email. Also, the emails, normally when you get an email in the stock email app, you can see how it's kind of blown up like so, and you got to scroll around to see the message. Well, now you can kind of shrink it down, and see the whole message. It doesn't auto-fit the message, so I kind of wish it did that, but I mean, it's better. It's still a nice change that you can shrink it down and see the messages like so, and you can see the whole email without having to scroll around. And sometimes you have to blow it up because it's not easy to read some of the smaller fine print, but it's a welcome change to the email. Another change in the Android 4.4 is the notification in your email. The stock email, not the Google Mail, is different. It's more like Google, whereas you can slide it down and you can only use one. You can actually use one finger. You can delete it or swipe it away, but more importantly, you can delete it. That's just another change. As you can see, the dollar icon's a little different, and the dollar app is also different. You can just hit that and hit the dollar, which is kind of cool, or go back to shrink it down. It has all your favorites here, a recently called section, and it has, if the company that calls you has caller ID by Google, or if they're in Google's system, it shows up. And then you can also just swipe it away, go back to your dollar. And it's really neat to have all your favorites right here. I don't have them all on mine because I'm doing a video, but you have all your favorites and you can hit them and dial real fast without having to go to all your contacts. But I like the new dollar app. Some people don't like it, but I like it a lot. The Nexus 5 runs really well, really snappy. I really like how it runs, really fast. It doesn't hiccup at all. Smooth, just like the other Nexus phones, or I should say the Moto X is what I really meant to say. But applications open fast. It's smooth. It's very fluid. One of the most fluid experiences on an operating system. So Google is really improving things, and I really like that. And one of the things I liked about the Moto X. Now we can talk about the camera performance. I haven't taken a lot of pictures with this phone. I've taken some on my this Nexus, the original one I had, but not a whole lot. The pictures are not bad. I don't think they are. Not as good as some top-end phones, but a lot better than previous versions, other Nexus phones. And the thing is, and I think I've seen this in a video by MK Marquise Brownlee, and he said that it takes the shutter speed is really slow, and it's really hard to focus. And he's right. And if you're not a really hardcore picture taker like me, like I'm not a hardcore picture taker, it makes it kind of hard. I mean, I can do okay with it. You just have to really be steady and hold it and let it focus. And once you do that, you can get some really good pictures with it. I mean, really good. I mean, as good as any other previous versions of Android. And of course, you can go in, preview them, shrink them down, swipe them away. Not a whole lot different in the camera interface. You hold it down and you got your it focuses. You have HDR plus mode. You have your panorama mode, your surround, your photosphere, of course your video. But I haven't taken a lot of pictures with this phone, but the ones I've taken have been really good. But like I said, it takes a lot to use it. So, I mean, if you're really into taking super good pictures with your camera, then you might not like this phone, but I like it. I mean, it's good enough for me, and I'm satisfied with it. But that's just a heads up on the camera. Another cool thing is it works really good with the Nexus 4 wireless charger. Of course, with the Nexus 4 charger, you got to constantly keep the dust off of it or it won't work correctly. But it charges really well. It sticks to it. and it's more consistent as far as putting it on. And once you figure the right position, it'll charge immediately. Sometimes it gets kind of hot, but it does seem to charge faster than the Nexus 4, I noticed. And also, you probably want to know about battery life. Battery life is pretty good. When I first got it, I didn't like it. And the more you use the screen, the more you're going to suck up. But it's a lot better. It's gotten better over time as I've used it. When I first used it, I was really using it a lot, and I didn't get a lot of battery life. Now, it's not as good as the G2 or the Note 3 or anything like that with bigger batteries. And if there is a negative about this phone, I think they should have at least put a 3,000 milliamp hour battery in it. You know, because some people are heavy users and they like to use their battery. I like to use. Another neat thing I like about the Nexus 5 and Android 4.4 is the music app, which is pretty cool. You know, you can play a song basically, and you can't hear it because I have my volume down, but just to give you an idea. And then it shows the full album art on the lock screen, so I really like that. I mean, I think it's kind of a nice touch. And you can control the forward, back, and pause it. And I believe you can long press it like so, and then you can control the track. You know, you can speed or slow up the track by sliding it back and forth. So that's kind of neat to have that, and I like that a lot. Going into the settings, you can go to the equalizer, and you can set your own the style or what you like or what you want to listen to or how you want to listen to it as far as equalizer settings. But I leave it off. They have really improved the music app and streaming music over their service, and it works a lot better, almost to the point that I don't even use an aftermarket app anymore. So either I'm used to it or they've really just improved it, but I really like it. So I mean, I pretty much use that now all the time on my Nexus. Another tip that I wanted to kind of throw out there, which is you may want to do this or you may not, but if you like listening to music on your phone like I do, you want to get some really good earphones, and I've got some really good ones, but I have the LG G2, which I don't know much longer I'm going to have it, but I have that, and I bought the G2 earphones, the stock ones that they give you if you buy the one from overseas, but from AT&T over here, no, I think none of the other carriers, they don't give them to you, which is kind of lame, but anyway. You can buy these from eBay from Hong Kong or Korea, I believe, I'm sorry. And it takes a while to get here, but these are some really, really nice headphones. They're called the LG Quad Beats, I believe. And I'll leave a link in the description if you want to buy some. Anyway, what I wanted to say is these earphones, they work with the Nexus 5. It's an LG phone, and basically you can answer calls forward and skip forward and backwards in the track and control the volume. So that's kind of neat. I really like that. So if you want to have a total control with your phone with at least the Nexus 5, get these earphones. I think you really like them, and I guess I'm endorsing this product, but I mean, they work with the Nexus 5, which is really neat. And I wish Google would include earphones and make them work just like the iPhone. I don't know why they don't do that, but some people say this is a developer phone and it's not really made for the masses. I kind of question that, but you know, who knows? Maybe it is, and they don't want to go through all that. Anyway, just a quick tip: if you want some neat earphones that will work with the Nexus 5, these are your ones. Call quality has been really good on this phone, and I really like it. People can hear me clearly, and I can hear them clearly. The radios are not quite as good as the Moto X, you know, as far as Bluetooth, the distance, if you have wireless, if you have Bluetooth headsets. But Motorola is good for the radios. And LTE performance on both AT&T and T-Mobile is really good also. And one thing I don't want to forget, let's do a quick speed test as always, and just see how AT&T performs on our speed test. And in my area, I get pretty good LTE. Not quite as good in my house as I do out in the city, but pretty decent. You can see I'm getting pretty close to about 16 to 17, kind of dropping a little bit, but pretty fast. And what's crazy is I used to get this on HSPA Plus on T-Mobile, but Since T-Mobile switched to LTE, their HSPA Plus, at least in my area, doesn't seem as fast. But this is actually AT&T. But it's pretty consistent. You know, I've gotten up in the 40s and anywhere from 30 to 40 to down to what I'm getting now, which is pretty good. And you can stream almost anything. The uploads kind of takes a little while to load. And I don't know if that's the network or just the app. And they finally improved it, updated this app too for Google. I just got a message. You can hear my phone's going off. A photo update that I really didn't want to upload to Google, but anyway, that's just a quick speed test. Another weird thing that I kind of wanted to cover is the difference in construction between the Nexus devices. For some reason, when I initially got the Nexus 5, I had the black one. This is the one I have right here, and the screen is excellent. It really looks good. It's crisp. It's clear. The whites are white, really white. But I ordered a white one, and I like the look of the white one, so I wanted to get one and check it out. And the one I ordered, it had like a yellowish tint to it, and that's been a problem. I've been reading the forums. Anyway, I sent that one back and got another one, and this one's a little better. And when I first got it initially, it still didn't seem as quite as bright as the other one, as this one, as I have to my right. But it's improved the more I've used it, so I don't know what that is. But anyway, that's just a little negative about the construction. And for a phone for $350, $399 for the 32, you can't really complain. I mean, that's a minor thing. But it is nice to have a decent screen, you know, on all of them. I mean, the white, I don't like the yellowish tint. I don't know what that is. Some people would say it's on purpose, but I think it's just a manufacturing thing. Anyway, that's just a small thing I wanted to just give you guys a heads up on. Well, overall, I really like these phones, or this phone, the Nexus 5. I'm an Android guy, Nexus guy, really a Nexus guy. I've had every Nexus phone since the Nexus 1. I always wanted an iPhone, but at the time I didn't want to switch to AT&T. So my friend told me about the Nexus 1, and I've been kind of hooked ever since. I like the ability to customize. And the thing I like about the Nexus is it's pure Google, pure Android, basically. Not Google, Android. And I really like that. I mean, I don't like carrier customizations. I like it a little on some of them, and some of them are improved, but I like stock Google, and I think stock Google is really catching up to the carrier customizations almost to the point where you don't even need a carrier skin on it. But anyway, this is just my review of the Nexus 5. I hope I've answered all your questions. I hope you enjoyed it. Like I said, this is my phone. It's going to be my phone for a while. I'll still bring out my Moto X because I really like it too, and it's customized. But this will be my primary phone. Anyway, if you have any other questions, just leave me a message on Google Plus or comment on this page. And whoops. No, I don't know why I did that. That was weird. Sometimes you just say Google, it'll come up. And you can say other things, it'll make it come up anyway. Anyway, thank you for watching my video and have a nice day.